Bricked Ford Transit SID211 ECU. Flex Recover makes it alive again. Hey everyone, this is Hussein, and welcome back to Bobji Motors, your ultimate hub for all things automobile diagnostics, ECU programming, and car tech wizardry. Today, we're diving into something that can literally save your car's life. Well, at least your Ford Transit's brain, because we're talking about recovering a bricked SID211 ECU after a failed OBD flash. Before we get started, a quick but important disclaimer. This video is strictly for educational and informational purposes. Everything I show is meant to guide and inform technicians, learners, and car enthusiasts. All images, clips, and references are only used for review and learning, and all trademarks belong to their respective owners. Always follow manufacturer guidelines and local laws when working on vehicles. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever tried flashing a car via OBD and then suddenly nothing worked? The ECU stops communicating completely, leaving you stuck and stressed. Well, stick around till the end because I'm going to show you how we bring these bricked ECUs back to life, step by step, and even reveal a few tricks that make the whole process much smoother. So here's the case. We're dealing with a Ford Transit 2.0 TDCi, equipped with the SID211 ECU. The owner attempted an OBD flash, and something went wrong, maybe a power hiccup or a bad write, and suddenly the car wouldn't communicate with the ECU at all. No reading, no writing, nothing. Essentially, the ECU was bricked. At this point, standard OBD operations won't help, so the solution is to recover the ECU in boot mode. What does boot mode involve? Essentially, we need to physically access the ECU's motherboard, which means separating it from the ECU case. The motherboard has connections on both sides, and in boot mode, we need to access two critical boot pads, one located under a capacitor and another on the top side of the PCB. Now, this part requires patience and precision. The ECU board is glued in place, and on top of the resistors, it's a real challenge to separate it without causing damage. You have to be careful, lift the capacitor carefully out of its cradle, and make proper soldering connections to the boot lines. Once that's done, tools like Magic Motorsport Flex can perform a full read of the ECU, including the map area and EEPROM. This is crucial because the EEPROM was corrupted during the failed OBD flash. After the read, a full install of the stock software along with the restored backup EEPROM file brings the ECU back to life. What makes this fascinating is that Flex doesn't just restore communication. It restores the ECU entirely to a working state. Foxflash also supports recovery via boot mode, giving you another option if Flex isn't available. For technicians wondering about OBD reads on SID211 ECUs, here's a helpful tip. If you need to read a Ford Transit or Transit Custom SID211 ECU via OBD, both AutoTuner and Flex are safe for a full read. However, if the car doesn't start immediately afterward, a simple 30-second battery disconnect usually fixes the issue. This is a small step that prevents ECU lockups after OBD operations. Let me add a bit of context for anyone new to ECU programming. A bricked ECU is like a mini computer that just refused to boot. By accessing boot mode, you're essentially performing a low-level rescue operation, similar to recovering a crashed laptop by connecting to its motherboard and restoring the operating system manually. It's technical, yes, but with the right tools and patience, it's absolutely doable. The key takeaway is this. Even if your SID211 ECU stops responding entirely after an OBD flash, it's not lost forever. With boot mode recovery, a careful hand, and the right tools, you can read the entire ECU, restore the corrupted EEPROM, reinstall stock firmware, and get your Ford Transit running smoothly again. So, did you stick around to the end? The answer to our opening question is yes. You can bring a brick Ford Transit SID211 ECU back to life using boot mode recovery with tools like Magic Motorsport Flex or Foxflash. From my experience, patience and attention to detail are just as important as having the right equipment. I personally think boot mode recovery is one of the most satisfying tasks in ECU programming because you're literally saving a car from a complete standstill. What do you think? Have you ever had to revive a bricked ECU? Drop your experiences or questions in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Here's a fun fact. The SID211 ECU has a robust internal protection system, which is why it often survives even severe OBD flash failures. It just needs the right rescue procedure to come back online. And now it's time for our challenge. Let's hit 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments. Hype this video, share your thoughts, and if you haven't already, subscribe to BobG Motors to keep learning and exploring the fascinating world of automobile diagnostics. Your support helps us bring more in-depth guides like this one straight to you. Until next time, stay curious, stay careful, and keep diagnosing like a pro.